welcome along to another episode of Paid to Talk, all thanks to Uber One. Now, in 2009, a mysterious TV show called Mysterious Planet aired on New Zealand and Russian TV. It was controversial, it was out there, and it was groundbreaking at the time. Now, much of the show was overshadowed by behind-the-scenes debacles and shenanigans during the production of the show. But today on Paid to Talk, we look into some of those debacles and some of the mysteries that the team tried to uncover. Let's start by having a look at the original promo for the program.
Explorer Leigh Hart is on a quest to seek the truth behind the world's greatest mysteries.
If we can't solve it, I believe nobody can.
A journey that will take his team to the most challenging, remote, and dangerous environments on the planet.
It's not an exact science.
We've been here 3 days now and not a whole lot's happened.
Using state-of-the-art technology, Hart demands answers and confronts the so-called experts.
Well, I've been here 20 years and I don't have an answer.
It might be easy if I just come over there, I think, Adrian.
Might be a little bit better.
He will dig deeper for answers than anyone has dared dig before.
And that whole time you were having sex with aliens.
Yeah. I've actually had intercourse with those females several times.
We just want to find out what's going on.
Yeah, but
Mysterious creatures, are they real?
Human does not have feces this large.
Or do they exist only in the realms of myth and legend?
Don't tell me that wasn't the Loch Ness Monster.
I can still see them bodies.
He must decipher codes before venturing deep into lost worlds, risking their lives and encountering lost tribes unseen on television for many hundreds of years.
I think I probably made the most relevant piece of TV in a long time. AJ's just been circumcised.
Pretty powerful stuff there. Now, joining us today on the show is the creator and the director of that show, Leigh Hart.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Yeah, I'm great to be here, and thanks for the opportunity to come on and talk more about that show, but also perhaps put to rest some of the rumours, about what went on during the making of the show, et cetera, et cetera. It's nice to clear some of that up. But yeah, thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, there's a lot of rumours about what happened during the making of that show. A lot of those rumours were sort of off air, which we can delve into.
Behind the scenes, I suppose you'd say, yeah.
Yep, we can delve into that soon. But in that promo, you mentioned that sort of, if you can't solve the mystery, then no one can.
Yeah, I think it was. I think I remember saying, look, if we can't solve it, I believe nobody can. Powerful statement, of course. Yeah.
So in saying that, how many mysteries do you think you did actually, in fact, solve?
On that series?
Yeah.
None. But I don't think that's really the point of the series in a way. We certainly set a high bar and a high challenge, I suppose, early on in the series.
Yeah.
You got to remember, people have been studying Bigfoot, the Roswell incident, Loch Ness for a lot longer than we have. And I believe we probably made more progress in them. Some of it unorthodox, I'll give you that. But we gave a good crack.
Yep. So looking at some of the mysteries that you did delve into, whether or not you solved them, where did your passion, your mystery, I guess, for these mysteries begin?
Yeah, that's a mystery in itself, isn't it? Look, I always had a fascination with mysteries from a young age, growing up as a kid, watching those TV shows, Arthur C. Clarke, Mysterious World. I think he ended up being a sex pest in the end. I'm not quite sure. But, but there was a lot of documentaries when I was growing up, a bit older than you, that was constantly about Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, this kind of stuff. And I loved that stuff. And, did I believe it existed? I think quite a large part of me actually believed that that stuff really was out there. And one day I'd be turning the news on, and breaking news, Bigfoot has been captured, and that, have him in a cage kind of thing. And I remember for Christmas one year, my grandfather gave me a book called Mysterious Planet, and it had all these mysteries in it. And then when I was old enough to make a TV show, I pretty much just went and got the book and sort of twinked my name onto the front of it and made it Leigh Harts Mysterious Planet.
Right.
And made a show out of it, and kind of went chronologically through the mysteries in order and tried to solve them. I'd seen plenty of documentaries in the past. How could I do anything different? The script was in my head already pretty much from watching so many of these shows.
Okay, because a lot of people sort of assumed it was some sort of tax write-off and just getting a budget to make a show and just go travelling, really.
Well, there was an aspect to that. Okay. I mean, a lot of the places I visited were places I wanted to go. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's nothing wrong in TV of killing two birds with the one stone, I suppose, in many ways. Well, let's take Bigfoot, for example. I think if we go in order, that was the first episode. If you're going to do a documentary like this, you need to go to where it's all happening. So we went to a Bigfoot conference. This was in Ohio, Salt Fork Lodge, a Bigfoot conference.
I'm assuming the people who turn up to a Bigfoot conference are believers. That is a thing.
There's the odd person there that's perhaps there for the, or the one person we talked to for the entertainment aspect of it. But at some level, I think they are. And they're traveling from miles around the country. They're like-minded people. I don't want to stereotype them. But it's not like a computer tech conference you might see in Silicon Valley or, a sort of, it's not like the Emmys. You know, there's a certain vibe, certain sort of style of person there. But what better way to talk to as many Bigfoot believers as possible, people who've claimed to have encounters, researchers, a lot of people carrying around bags of feces.
This is not so fresh, but it's a very large feces. The rectum is quite large on these creatures. More similar to gorilla feces of what I've seen on the internet.
Just incidentally, what site on the internet deals with feces?
What I did, I just punched in
Feces.com.
gorilla feces. There was many sites.
A lot of these people have had encounters with the beast. So I was trying to bring some of my...
Sexual encounters or?
Yeah. In fact, I spoke at the conference, and that was controversial. And three big things about the conference that was stuck with me was, firstly, going out on a Bigfoot excursion into the woods with some believers with sticks, hitting trees and making noises, trying to attract Bigfoot.
The creature responds to music and also the sounds of children.
We had a couple of bottles of bourbon with these other researchers, if you want to call them that, and headed into the forest to try and capture this kind of stuff on camera, which we didn't.
When you say attract Bigfoot, that's in a platonic way, not in a sexual way, or some have that intention?
Well, it depends what kind of season it is. I mean, when I spoke, I talked about an encounter, and this went down pretty badly at the Bigfoot conference. There's an old encounter many years ago. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, the Waitakere Yeti. A number of years back, there were sightings of a large upright walking hominid in the Waitakeres, and a bushwalker was up there, and he was raped by this beast. And I ended up doing a speech on this, and it kind of blew their minds slightly. It might be best if we just run that.
Out of nowhere from behind, a large, upright walking hominid threw him to the ground, ripped his jeans off, and raped him. Okay? He later found his jeans torn up to shreds in the manner that no human could do, a couple of miles from where the rape scene. A number of years later, he was up there once again, and again he was raped by the same beast, we believe. He was raped not once, not twice, but thrice over a 4-year period.
Pretty powerful stuff there, as you can see. The audience, were captive, and they had never heard anything like that before. I mean, basically, as you say, if someone's gone up there, he's been raped not once, not twice, but thrice. I mean, being raped once would be bad enough, twice, pretty bad, but thrice.
Yeah, well, it kind of begs the question why he kept going back, I guess.
Back into the woods?
Yeah.
Yeah, it certainly does. I mean, why would you keep going back? You start to wonder whether he's part of the problem, if you know me that. But it's also keen to, bring some science to this. I mean, that, of course, there's a lot of serious Bigfoot researchers in the States, in the Himalaya as well, throwing science at this, which is a good thing. We were measuring footprints, but we wanted to go a step further, measure how deep these footprints are, try to get, using top computer technology, how big the beast actually might be through the weight and mass of the footprint, if you like.
And what was the result of that research?
Surprisingly, he's only about 3.5 foot tall. He had massive feet, but it was only this big. So just because you got big feet doesn't mean you're a big person, even in the Bigfoot realm, if you know what I mean. So this kind of stuff, again, is throwing shade on a lot of their research. And I was beginning to become slightly unpopular with some of the other researchers there. So I would always try to speak towards the end of the conference so as not to affect my credibility up to that point.
Your results weren't in line with the research of the...
Not all of it, no. Not all of it. I think just bringing a little bit more common sense to the whole thing, but it's fascinating nevertheless. I mean, do you believe in Bigfoot yourself? Do you believe such a creature could exist after all the years not discovered?
Well, it depends if there's more than one Bigfoot, I guess.
Well, there'd have to be, wouldn't there?
There'd need to be some procreation going on. So there's big feet plural, potentially.
Yeah.
I have seen the grainy footage of what could potentially be a Bigfoot.
A common sense, the Occam's razor is the term we can use, but that basically says the most obvious answer is normally the true one. So if there hasn't been a decent photo, there probably isn't one. They've never found a dead body. You know, they've found dead bears, dead elk, dead moose in the woods, but never a Bigfoot.
Never a Bigfoot skeleton.
No.
Which begs the question.
That's right. Look, we'll take a break. Well, it's not my show. Let's take a break.
Hey, if we can just hold it there for a moment, Lee.
Okay,
we'll be back to talk about a few more mysteries like Machu Picchu and Inca Gold in Peru.
Machu Picchu.
Welcome back to Pay to Talk. We are talking Mysterious Planet with the host of the show, Leigh Harts. And, well, we were just talking about Bigfoot.
Yes.
How did that episode all wrap up?
Yeah, well, we got kicked out of the conference. We went to a Bigfoot conference and got ejected from that in the end.
Right.
We had to move on to South America. The reason being, of course, didn't have too much to do with what we were discussing at the Bigfoot conference. It was more of a case I wrote an article on the fact that I was at the Bigfoot conference and the first line said, if you can't get laid at a Bigfoot conference, you can't get laid anywhere. And that went round like wildfire and I became sort of like the pariah, I suppose, of the Bigfoot community, and they put a fatwa on me, basically tried to take me out.
Right. So I can imagine the rate of virgins at a Bigfoot conference are quite high, potentially.
Well, I don't have any data on that, man. But what I'm trying to say, and we moved on from there, South America, and I had a 5.5-year ban from all future Bigfoot conferences. So I should be able to go again.
That ban has lapsed?
Yeah, it has lapsed now.
Okay.
It has lapsed now. So we moved to South America was the next thing to look at Machu Picchu, who built it, why, and then tried to track down some lost Inca gold in the jungle. And this is really on the series where the wheels are starting to fall off slightly on the show. We're only, 2 mysteries, well, 1 mystery in really.
It's impressive that the wheels are ever on, to be fair.
Well, look, I mean, this is a stressful stuff. I mean, you're married now, and let's admit it. Most people's wives think they're a bit of a loser anyway.
100%.
And that's before they become a Bigfooter.
Yeah.
Let alone being a researcher, doing a documentary about people searching for Bigfoot. You know what I mean? It can put a strain on relationships.
Definitely.
So, we were there doing our best. Got off to a pretty bad start, actually, this one. Because of budgetary reasons, we're doing a show on mysteries, but I'm having to give the viewer much, much more. Other than just a mystery show, I decided to make it a nature documentary as well in many ways.
All right.
Showing the viewer the wildlife, flora, fauna. It wasn't really, I should have stayed in my lane when I think about it now. So if I recall rightly, we're, close to Machu Picchu in the jungle. And I pick up a dangerous snake, which I knew nothing about.
Hey, just stay back, will you?
And I'm showing it to the camera. I'm trying to do my best Attenborough.
Almost like a Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
I'm no expert, but that looks like a yellow flago snake, probably the most dangerous snake they have in Peru.
And I'm showing it to the cameraman, of course. And if I remember rightly, the snake may have got caught up in the cameraman's headphones.
Right.
And I don't think snakes like that.
No.
They don't.
I don't think cameramen like it either.
No.
You just got to remember, he's more scared of us than we are of him. You got your headphones in there, Brent. Get the headphones out of there.
And well, he didn't because he got bitten by the snake and all hell broke loose.
Get a tight shot.
The snake attacks. Leigh stuns it with a pan flute, then returns it to the river whence it came.
We lost a couple of days filming. He had to go to hospital, of course. We were short a cameraman for a couple of days. I had to film all sorts of stuff myself, sunsets and sunrises and, set up tripods, all this sort of stuff, which I'm not used to doing.
You're still in touch?
Oh, yeah, no, he came back onto the thing, but it certainly affected morale. We had a busy schedules. We were up half an hour before we went to bed sometimes, without filming. And he's back on deck there, questioning every decision I'm making, of course, because he's been bitten by a snake. But anyway, we got through it in the end.
Nice.
A tough shoot, though. Tough shoot, that one. You got to remember we're up in the altitude quite a lot.
I was going to say, is this before you even got up to Machu Picchu?
Well, we're up and down. We're up and down the whole time. That's the problem. Sometimes the schedule would be filming something up at 13,000 feet, come back down to close to sea level to do some interviews in a museum or something. Then we go back up to 13,000 feet again. So we're up and down. I'm up in the altitude there. Everyone's affected by it. I started to get quite clumsy with the altitude sickness.
Yeah.
I fell off a cliff, about sort of 60, 70-foot cliff into the Colca River while I was interviewing a guide.
We are going to see the Andean condor. We are going to see the largest bird in the whole world. These are the...
That wasn't ideal. I'm up there trying to take photos and big canyons and sort of stuff, and haven't put the lens properly on my camera, that kind of stuff, and that's dropped off into the canyon. I fell out of moving vehicles 2 or 3 times at altitude.
Then drama, as Leigh has fallen out of the documentary vehicle. They will need to stop so he can get back in it.
Sorry about that, Carlos. That's not the sort of thing you do on a suburban kid run to the supermarket or picking up the kids from school. You know, that's stuff we were experiencing because it's high intensity, trying to stick to that budget, trying to get everything done at altitude.
Yeah. So it's just the altitude that was sort of causing all this clumsiness, or it was sort of a concoction of anything?
Oh, look, I mean, of course, you work hard, you play hard, you finish a bit of filming. Of course, you can have a few beers at night, a few bourbons, that sort of stuff. We were younger then. You got to remember where you're doing the coca leaves, you chew them to help with the altitude sickness.
Right.
And I didn't realize that was a gateway drug to cocaine. So you throw that in the mix, you're starting to get a picture of that. But we had a mission. We had to solve this mystery.
Yeah.
And by this stage, we had forgot what the mystery was. I still can't remember what we were actually trying to solve. Oh, obviously, Machu Picchu came into it, always does.
Yeah.
But I can't remember what we were supposed to be doing. I do recall in the jungle, we're having drugs, as I say, for the altitude sickness up and down. We're having drugs for malaria, for the jungle stuff. You combine that with a bit of alcohol, cocaine, you're going to get a lot of weird sort of side effect and results.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
And then that obviously hinders your ability to solve the mystery.
Yeah, it certainly does. And I think AJ, our producer, probably described it best in one of the piece of cams, which I was quite keen to cut out of the documentary, but somehow we didn't. Have we still got that?
You can get headaches, indigestion, erections at inappropriate moments, which AJ's found out firsthand.
I mean, unwanted erections are a real pain in the ass, and it happens at inappropriate moments, moments when we're trying to be quite a professional crew, and I turn up and I'm greeting archaeologists, tribes. I mean, some of the tribeswomen are topless, so it makes me look like I'm getting aroused. I mean, I would. I don't, but I could. It just kind of makes me look like a bit of a sex tourist and not a professional. That's the only worry with all these pills we're taking.
You really wish I'd cut that out. Now somehow it's made into this. The worst part of it. It's got in here twice. Anyway, so as you can imagine, we're there mixing with locals, tribes people, pretty amazing stuff. And
mixing drugs.
Well, yeah, but that to say you seem to be stuck on that, Matt. It was more to it than that. We're actually trying to make award-winning stuff here.
Right.
And in many ways, I think we did.
Did you win any awards?
On that trip?
Yeah, on any of them.
Oh, we didn't really put it into any awards in that series. Right. You know what I mean? We
So what conclusions? What did you solve from this Peru episode?
In this series?
Yeah.
One of the main things we learned was about Machu Picchu, how it was built, or how to say it even. I mean, that's how you say Machu Picchu.
Oh, so not Machu Picchu? It's
not Machu Picchu.
Machu Picchu.
Machu Picchu.
Okay.
You got to put a bit more emotion into it, I think. In a documentary sense anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Up there we learned, who built it? Well, the Incas did. The local people built it, obviously. How did they do it? It's amazing how many people who live up there and the locals don't actually believe that stonemasons from another solar system came in and built the pyramids, which that was the narrative I was running with, because that's what I'd seen in other documentaries. Because you got to ask the question, Matt, why would you have stonemasons from another, solar system, 6, 7, 8 light years away coming here purely to cut stones on Earth? and put them on top of each other.
Yeah, it does.
And then put a mud thatched roof on top of it. I don't know if they'll be doing that. And I started to question what I'd seen before in documentaries.
Yeah, it does make you wonder if the juice is worth the squeeze, sort of coming that far
right.
with that sort of technology to get here just to thatch some roofs. And
and then
some
did plasterers from another solar system come after the fact and do the plastering work?
Yeah.
These are things we don't know. And we what I learnt, if nothing else, was that they probably didn't. So that in some way, yes, we did go a small way to solve that mystery, but I'm probably not the first person to put forward the theory that stonemasons from another solar system didn't come here in the manner that they did. But look, all this research, the hard work, we mentioned some of the narcotics, etc. It did take its toll on the crew. A couple of times I might have been quite short with AJ, the producer. We may have some footage of that. Can we roll that footage?
Our story must begin here. But ironically, the Spanish on their bloodthirsty lust for gold never actually made it. Look, zip it, will you? Just zip it. Don't play your fruity pan-fruit tunes up here. We've been over this once before. It's wrecked it now.
And again, I don't know how that got into the documentary itself, but when you make a documentary on a budget like this, most of it does get in somehow.
So in a nutshell, this mystery also was not solved?
Well, as I say, I can't remember what we were trying to solve.
Right. All right, well, I might just hold you there again.
Yeah, great if we could.
Yeah, take another quick break and we'll be back to delve into a few more mysteries. Welcome back to Paid to Talk, all thanks to Uber One, and we've got very special guest, Leigh Hart, host of the TV show Mysterious Planet. Now, we've delved into Machu Picchu, we've delved into Bigfoot, and I now believe we're going to delve into Loch Ness.
Yeah, one of the biggies, isn't it? You know, of course, we're in Scotland now trying to solve the mystery of Loch Ness, the Loch Ness Monster. You know, if you want to put the big three in there, you've got Roswell, Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster. Submersible dinosaur. Do they exist in the modern era? I mean, what do you think?
Well, Loch Ness, again, it's sort of up there with Bigfoot, isn't it? Are they procreating? Have there been some grainy images of Loch Ness?
Plenty of grainy images.
Yeah.
Because there have been sightings for hundreds, if not thousands of years of the Loch Ness Monster. So that, in many ways, is compelling and interesting. Our job, of course, with our team, highly trained with our equipment, is to get there and once and for all, nothing else, let's say what it isn't, you know, with our audio equipment, our visual stuff.
Sonar?
What's that?
Sonar.
No, we didn't have that.
Right.
Well, we had like remote-controlled jet boat, I suppose you'd call it, model, and we had cameras on that, and they could go along the water and stuff. And then we would hang microphones in the water as well, and we could listen.
Waterproof ones?
Yep. Eventually they were. But the main issue there was you really got to get out of the water if you want to study something that is a water-based creature.
Yeah.
We were unable to do that for about 2 or 3 weeks because the Nessie Hunter, which was the research vessel that we had hired to use, had been double booked by a sort of a primary school camp type trip, going out of the water and, you know, doing that sort of thing.
Which is terrible timing on over school
it was
holidays.
just a double book. I don't know how, I mean, no matter how much research you can do, you can sometimes over-research and forget to book the boat on the right day.
So what'd you do for 3 weeks?
Well, we were sort of stuck in a pub basically for 2 or 3 weeks, or different pubs actually, but we were talking to different people. It gave us an opportunity to talk to some of these people and get first-hand eyewitness accounts, hear from them.
Have you ever seen the Loch Ness Monster?
No, I've never seen the Loch Ness Monster, but my husband says he's married to it.
What did I see? Tell me.
Well, I've been here 20 years and I don't have an answer.
And finally, I'm going to chuck something at you. There's a bit of a theory I've been using. There's 2 different types of evidence, whether it be Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, anything, any of these mysteries. You can have weak evidence. That's a grainy photo, you know, an eyewitness account. You can have strong evidence. That would be forensic evidence, something you can touch, something you can see, right? A whole lot of weak evidence stacked up together doesn't suddenly become strong evidence just because there's lots of it. Whereas just a small piece of strong evidence becomes stronger and stronger the more you add to it. And we did a demonstration of that using beer, I think, in one of the pubs, again, using AJ, the producer. You can see here, I'm drinking low alcohol beer here to show weak evidence. AJ, on the other hand, he's drinking high strength beer to show strong evidence. And just see what happens here. It's quite amazing.
Well, we're about quarter the way through the experiment. Here I am on low alcohol representing weak evidence, and I'm feeling pretty good. How are you, AJ?
I'm feeling great.
Let's keep it going.
But as you can see in real time there, he's collapsing through the door into the bar from whence he came. And then later on, of course, making a complete ass of himself with those girls over there in the corner of the bar. So I don't think you can demonstrate it any clearer than that.
Yeah.
Different types of evidence. So one thing that seems to be coming through this podcast, if you don't mind me saying, Matt, is that the pressure, the toll that making a show like Mysterious Planet can take on the people that are making it and those around it. So if any episode could be really called a mental health special, it'd probably be the Loch Ness episode.
Right, so why would that be the mental health episode?
Well, because we had a guy that had a mental breakdown during the show, Graham Cosby. He's a Scottish researcher and cryptozoologist. He's expert in sub-aqua dinosaurs. He was the more type of guy that hangs out in the office, researching from the computer, reading, a very intelligent man. But he came and joined us on the trip. We're more sort of get your hands dirty field type of guys, being Kiwis and stuff.
Yeah.
He was married, of course, and he was going through, I suppose, a messy breakup at the time. And this just put pressure on him. It was supposed to be a 2-day trip. Ended up being about 3.5 weeks before he got home. By that stage, his wife had left him for it might have been a tiler from Inverness or a furniture upholsterer in Dundee. I'm not sure, but either way, he lost his marriage, and again, he took that out on us.
So it was nothing to do with his research that he was doing with you around Loch Ness. It was more the fact that his wife was shagging a tiler from Dundee.
I'm not really sure about that. I don't know how impressed he was with some of the stuff we were doing. We were pretty desperate with time, and once we got back on the Nessie hunt, the vessel we were able to use, we didn't have a lot of time to use our equipment. So we got desperate. We were just basically dredging the lake like with a hook, like an anchor, really, hoping just to snag something in the end, because we were running it. We're paying for this boat by the hour, and hoping to catch something real Hey Mary, and we did in the end.
Oh, you did? What'd you catch?
It was a power cable actually to the local village.
Oh shit! Sorry guys, just some cable.
Which we hauled onto the boat. Kind of got snared into the outboard and all sort of stuff, so we ended up having to cut that off.
But then drama. He has cut the power to the southern and western sides of the loch.
Let her rip, George!
We weren't popular because people knew that we were out there doing that stuff. You go back to the B&B where we've been staying, they loved us before that.
Yeah.
And,
especially if you give them a terrible rating because the power went out.
Well, we got a terrible rating, that's for sure. And then, of course, on the last day, Graham had a complete meltdown. And we tried to kill us, basically.
He's Grazer! Just a 2-day trip! Easy! AJ! Don't follow you! Fire up!
We just had to do a runner and leave Loch Ness. And I kind of feel we left a lot unfinished business there.
The best technology! The best technology! You have no Get a life, Graham! Get a life! You told me not to follow! You told me! It was only a 2-day trip!
So you didn't solve that mystery?
I left a lot of the data in the hotel room, a lot of the stuff, the research data, and Graham Cosby chasing us with that tripod, smashing the windscreen and stuff, and yelling at us. We just thought it was best to get out of there, Matt, and move on. Which we did.
Well, Leigh, that actually seems as good a place as any to stop this episode. But we've only done about half, I think, of the big mysteries that you've covered in Mysterious Planet. So thinking next week we potentially delve into the part 2 of the Mysterious Planet special.
Yeah, probably a good point, actually, because things behind the scenes get a lot worse in many ways. Not just with the mysteries, but it really was starting to get quite tense.
I imagine.
We, of course, find ourselves in Egypt. We're talking about with the pyramids, Roswell, of course, UFOs. That's a biggie. And, of course, the Bermuda Triangle. And that was our final one, and quite fitting, really. But, look forward to it.
Brilliant. All right, we'll delve into that next week with a very special guest, Leigh Hart, who's also co-host of this podcast.
Yeah. And I live here.
Great place.